All right, back to the lowercase with a new group of letters, the TDP group. And I put all these letters together because they all have, let's say, stems that go up to this TD line here, okay? See, the T comes up to the TD line, the D comes up to the TD line. That's why it's called the TD line. And in this traditional cursive script, the P comes up to the TD line as well, which I just love the look of that. And it's something that not a lot of people are doing anymore these days. And it's really going to set your writing apart if you're making a P like this. So let's start with the T. And the T is really, it starts out as an I, and you actually can see that I form here in the bottom part of this letter. I mean, from the excite to the baseline, this is an I. The only difference is that it extends up to the TD line after you get to the excite, and then we're putting that crossbar right between that excite and the TD line. All right, so if I make this T up to the TD line, come down on the main slant, tight turn, and exit out, then just put that crossbar right between the TD line, and be careful when you're putting that crossbar down. Don't have to do it hastily. You'll get faster as you write, and you'll get better at doing things. But right now, we're taking our time. We're being careful as we're studying and practicing. Writing faster is a topic for another day. So yeah, this is looking good. I mean, I would just be mindful of my connective stroke here from the baseline to the excite, and then on the entry as well. I want to keep that consistent. Do it again one more time. Coming up and just retracing back down. Adding our crossbar. All right, let's do the D. And the D also features another letter that we've done before, which is the A. Right below the excite and above the baseline, we have our A. So we already know how to do that A. We just have to add this stem to it. So we do our entry stroke in to that A form. Do that rounded almond A shape. Now, instead of stopping here and going down, we're just going to go up to that TD line on our main slant. Should have pointed that out with the T, but now I'm going to exit with the D. Just like the T, this is on the main slant. The D, our stem here, is on the main slant. One mistake you might be liable to make with the D is to come out early. I would call it coming out early like this with that D. That's not what we want. We want a nice tight move down, just like you're doing an I, and exiting on that connective slant. Keep my black pen here. Here's one without the entry stroke, which you can do if you're starting a word with a D. Coming up and down on that main slant, and keep coming down. Just keep coming down. Don't come out early. Nice tight turn on to exit out of the D. All right. All right, let's do the P. One of the more complex lowercase letters we've done so far. It's also our first descending lowercase letter. And we say it's descending because it comes below our baseline all the way down to that descender line. Descending means to go below or to go down. So we're going to first do our entry stroke just like we're doing a T. Okay, this is basically a T up to this point. And now we do our unique shape here for the P, which is a stroke that comes all the way down to that descending line. Nice tight turn at the descending line. And then we're looping up back, crossing this descending line on the main slant, crossing it right here at the baseline, okay? And then we go in and we do this little loop here, nice round shape, and then we just do our exit like that. All right, see it again. Come up all the way to the TD line, come down, do our loop back into the left, cross at the baseline, and then just finish with a nice loop and an exit. All right. I missed the excite just by a hair there. Not a big deal, but something to notice. And again, you just want this loop and downstroke to be on that main slant, and then you want to see your connective slants there and there with that entry and exit underturn strokes. All right, let's do some words with these letters. Some of the ones we've learned before. To, very popular word, one that you'll write a lot. Make our T, come down on that main slant, tight turn into that little compound, exit and entry into the O. Then we'll just exit out of that O with that little flip and cross the T after you finish the word. That's how it works in cursive. Finish your word and then go back and do a dot in any I's, cross any T's or X's. All right, let's do the word and. I'm going to omit the entry stroke on the A, which you are welcome to do whenever you're starting a word with an A or a D. Come down, subtle compound move there into the N. Then our over to under combo move. Another compound move into our D, which starts with that A shape, but then extends up to the TD line. Comes down, nice tight turn at the bottom. We're not exiting that D early. All right, this is looking really good. Right on our baseline. That's great. The bodies of these letters are hitting the X height. Spacing here looks good between these. Here's our two main spaces in this word, inter-word spacing, or inter-letter spacing, sorry. That's looking even, and they're even because our connective slants are consistent, okay? That's how connective slant controls the spacing. It's all of these concepts, shape, spacing, size, slant. They're all interconnected. Whenever you mess with one, you mess with the other. So that connective slants are looking good. And then also our main slants, our downstrokes, downstroke on the A, downstrokes in the N, and the downstrokes in the D are all on that main slant as well, which is looking awesome. So that's how you do it. That's how you analyze your work. Okay, that's where you find the errors. Most important part. Write and analyze. Write and analyze. All right, let's do part, P-A-R-T. Go up with our P. It's another opportunity to practice this P all the way down. Nice tight loop at the bottom into this loop here to finish off the P. Nice big open loop there. I'm going to pick my pen up, place it here, go into my A. Little compound move into the A. And go to our R up above that X height. Tight turn at the bottom into the T. Tight turn to exit. All right, this T is showing a problem that you might have when you're making your T's, and that is that I left too much space up here, okay? You don't want to do this. Very common. You want to retrace that T. You don't want to have it open like this. All right, you want to have a nice tight T where you go up, and really everything above the X height is retraced. So there's no open space above that X height. That is the key with the T. All right. Peppered, by far the longest word we've done so far. And it features a double P, which is difficult to pull off because it's a complex letter and you're doing it side by side. So any differences between these two P's, and you're going to notice them, which means they're a great way to practice your P's. All right, so let's do one here. Start with our first P. Looking good. Nice wide spacing here on this E. Tight turn at the bottom. All right, first of our double P's. Second of our double P's. Can already tell I'm going to have some distinct differences between them. Come up above the X height for the R. All right, I'm going to move my paper again here, get back in my writing zone, and finish the word. Nice tight turn on that D. All right. So first, I'm liking the spacing here. I'm not seeing any major issues with the spacing or inconsistencies. Really, I mean, actually, everything turned out pretty good. This P is maybe on a little bit of a steeper slant than that one. Or this one's on a flatter slant, shallower slant. This one's a little steeper. And this one has more of a kind of elongated shape. And this is the shape I want in this second one. A nice tight but rounded shape. Didn't quite hit the X height there. This one came up a little higher, which is good. But yeah, just that, the shape of that P loop there, that's just another opportunity to have an inconsistency in shape, which we want to eliminate. And when you have an inconsistency in shape, this is an inconsistency in size as well. This is a bigger loop. It's a wider loop. So it's going to throw everything off in those terms as well. So, but other than this little spacing issue, I mean, everything else is looking pretty good. I'm just checking my spacing. This D might have been a little steep there as well, but give that word a try. It's the most challenging word we've had so far, so be easy on yourself, but look for all the little mistakes that you're making. That's the key to getting better here.